All right, level 3 is angles of elevation and angles of depression. If you remember last year, what we talked about was we always look from the line of sight to determine angle of elevation and angle of depression. So line of sight is going to be your horizontal distance, no matter if you're looking up or if you're looking down. And then your angle of elevation, obviously, is looking up. Angle of depression is going to be looking down, okay? And that's going to be where your angle is. So we're going to take a look at a couple of these examples, draw some pictures. Please don't judge my drawing abilities, and hopefully you won't have any questions, but if you do, just let me know. Okay, number 5 says a 15-foot ladder leans against a wall and makes an angle of 60 degrees with the floor. Okay, so we've got a wall. It's a great wall. And we've got a ladder. Okay, that's 15 feet. And it makes a 60-degree angle with the floor. Okay. How high up the wall does the ladder reach? So I'm looking for that distance right there. Okay. So if I look at this, you should, or hopefully you see a triangle. You got 15 the hypotenuse, you've got one side that's x, and you got the ground that's unknown, you've got an angle of 60. So if I redraw this triangle, so if I want to know what that x is, okay, again, here's the 60 that I know, drawing a line to the right angle, that's my adjacent, this is the opposite, and that's my hypotenuse. So I know the O and I know the H. So that's going to be sine. So that's what I'm going to use. I'm going to use sine of 60 equals the opposite x over the hypotenuse h, 15. So now I'm going to cross multiply. 15 times the sine of 60 equals x. And since x is by itself, I don't have to do anything else except put it into my calculator. So I'm going to do 15 times the sine of 60. Sine is 2 buttons above the 7. I'm going to hit enter. And I get 12.99, and it says round to the nearest tenth. Well, this second 9 is going to round this 9 up, which is going to round the 12 into a 13. So just say 13 feet. Okay. All right. Next question. It says, how far from the wall is the base of the ladder? Round to the nearest tenth of a foot. So again, what we're going to do is I'm going to take this picture. This is 60, and this is 15. And now I'm trying to find from the base of the ladder to the wall. So again, 60, this is going to be the adjacent, hypotenuse, and opposite. Whoops, flip those around. Hello. This is the hypotenuse, that's the opposite. So we have the adjacent and the hypotenuse, that's going to be cosine. So cosine 60 equals x over 15. If I cross multiply, I get 15 cosine of 60 equals x. So again, 15 cosine is 2 buttons above the 8, and you get 60. So x is going to equal 7.5 feet. Exactly. Okay? All right. Last one, number 6. A 50-foot pole has a support wire that runs from its top to the ground with an angle of depression of 75 degrees. How far from the base of the pole does the wire connect to the ground? Round to the nearest tenth. Okay, so we've got a 50-foot pole. And a support wire that runs from the top to the ground. And the angle of depression, so from the top, I'm going to draw a horizontal line. So this is my line of sight. If I'm looking out, the angle of depression goes down. So this is 75 degrees right in there. How far from the base of the pole does the wire connect to the ground? So this is what we're trying to find here. So here's the connection to the ground. Here's the base of the pole. Okay. So from here, what we want to do, we can do a couple different things. Depends how you see this. So if you see that, you can assume right angles in here. So if this part is 75 degrees, that means to make 90, this is going to be 15 in here. So this is going to be x, that's what we want to find. And if I know the angle measurement of 15 here, I'm going to go ahead and draw a straight line down to the right angle. Here's my adjacent. This is the hypotenuse, and then this is going to be the opposite. So I've got O and A, and so that's going to be tangent. So I'm going to say tangent of 15 equals the opposite over adjacent. So I'm going to say 50 equals, not equals, 50 times the tangent of x times the tangent of 15 equals x. Okay, so now from here I'm just going to put 50 tangent 15. And I'm going to get about 13.397. And it tells me to round to the nearest tenth. So I'm going to do 13.4 feet. Okay? So that's one way that you could do it. The other way that you could do it depends on how you see it. So if I go ahead and draw another picture here. This is 50. Here's the wire. Here's 75 degrees. Here's x. So what some people see is if they draw this length here, this is also going to be 50, and they can connect this side with this side because it's a rectangle and make it x. So they're using this triangle here to do tangent of 75 equals 50 over x. You're going to get the same answer of 13.4, but it just depends on what triangle you're using to find your side length. So whatever you want to use, it's up to you. I usually prefer just finding the complement like we did in the first one, the 15 degrees, just subtracting 90 minus 75. I think that's a little bit easier. But if you think the second one makes more sense to you, then go ahead and do that.